Ladies and gentlemen, today we are stepping into the fascinating world of American coinage, where hidden treasures often sit unnoticed in plain sight. One of the most talked about and highly sought after coins is none other than the 1970 no mintmark Roosevelt dime. A coin that at first glance looks ordinary, but in reality, it carries extraordinary value and an incredible story that makes collectors chase after it with excitement. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. It was created as a tribute to his legacy and his commitment to the March of Dimes campaign, which fought against polio in the United States. By 1970, this dime had already become a staple in American currency, widely used in everyday transactions. Yet, hidden in that year's production is a version without a mint mark, and that is where the story begins. Most dimes from 1970 were produced either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Each coin normally carried a mint mark, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or none for Philadelphia. But the 1970 dimes with no mint mark are not the typical Philadelphia strikes. Instead, a very limited number was struck in error at the San Francisco Mint. That tiny detail makes all the difference and sets these dimes apart as an absolute rarity. Now, you may be wondering why the absence of such a tiny letter can make a coin worth thousands of dollars. The answer is simple: rarity combined with history. When something so small as a missing mint mark happens in US coinage, and only a handful survive in pristine condition, collectors around the world will do anything to own one. Scarcity creates demand, and demand drives prices sky high. The 1970 no mint mark dime is highly prized because it was never intended to exist. In the world of numismatics, unintended varieties and errors always attract the most attention. Unlike regular coins that were mass-produced in the millions, these error-struck dimes exist in incredibly low numbers. That makes them like hidden jewels waiting to be discovered. When you hold one of these dimes in your hand, you are not just holding 10 cents worth of American currency. You are holding a piece of history, a mistake that slipped through the cracks of one of the most secure minting systems in the world. That story alone gives it a power and value that goes far beyond its face value. The most stunning part is the value these coins can achieve on the open market. While the dime is technically worth only 10 cents, serious collectors are willing to pay thousands of dollars to add one to their collection. Records show that in auctions, depending on condition, the 1970 no mint mark dime has sold for well over $2,500, and in certain rare cases has even reached close to $4,000. Imagine turning a simple coin you might overlook into thousands of dollars of pure treasure. And that, my friends, is what makes this dime so exciting. It isn't just about money, it is about possibility. Every time you look through your change, there is a chance that you could come across one of these gems. Stories have emerged of lucky individuals finding these dimes in circulation, tucked away in old coin jars, or passed down from grandparents who never knew the true worth of what they were leaving behind. The emotional value is just as powerful as the financial value. Owning such a coin connects you to a story that stretches across decades, back to 1970, when the United States Mint accidentally let a treasure slip through its hands. It reminds us that sometimes the most valuable things in life are the ones hidden in plain sight. Collectors often seal these coins, preserve them in protective cases, and never let them touch the open air again. Why? Because condition is everything. A coin graded in near-perfect state can fetch the absolute maximum prize. That's why professional grading agencies play such an important role in securing the value of the 1970 no mint mark dime. The better the condition, the higher the dollar amount a collector will be willing to pay. This is not just a coin, it is an investment. Many collectors buy them not only for the thrill of owning something rare, but also for the potential growth in value over time. As the years go by, the number of these coins available only decreases, which means the demand will keep rising. That's how rare coins like this one secure their place in the market as long-term treasures. So, is it valuable? Absolutely yes. Without question, the 1970 no mint mark dime is one of the most exciting finds in modern US coin history. And if you ever come across one, you should know you are holding something worth far more than a dime. You are holding the possibility of turning just 10 cents into thousands of dollars. Imagine the thrill of placing that coin up for auction, watching collectors battle it out, and finally selling it for a life-changing prize. That is the magic of numismatics, a world where history and chance collide to create opportunities that most people can only dream of. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1970 no mintmark Roosevelt dime is proof that treasures still exist, waiting to be discovered. Keep your eyes open, keep your change jars close, and never underestimate the power of a single coin. What may look like a simple dime could be worth as much as $5,000 in today's market. The next great discovery could be in your pocket right now. Next up, the 1976 no mintmark Roosevelt dime. A small piece of metal, only worth 10 cents in the eyes of most. But in reality, it carries a story of history, rarity, and incredible value that makes it one of the most desirable finds for coin enthusiasts. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away the year before. His strong connection to the March of Dimes made it fitting that the dime would become a tribute to his legacy. By the time 1976 rolled around, this dime had already been a part of American life for 3 decades. Millions were produced, but not all were created equal. That year, a very rare and fascinating version appeared. The 1976 dime with no mintmark. Typically, dimes from 1976 were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Philadelphia coins carried no mintmark by tradition, Denver coins carried the D, and San Francisco coins carried the S for proof issues. However, the 1976 no mintmark dimes we are discussing are not ordinary Philadelphia strikes. They represent a rare error that slipped through the system, and their existence has made them legendary. The missing mintmark makes this dime instantly recognizable to trained eyes. It might seem like a tiny detail, but in the world of coin collecting, such a detail is monumental. Scarcity is what creates value, and coins like the 1976 no mintmark dime stand out because of how few were produced and how rare it is to find them today in top condition. When this coin first came into the spotlight, collectors were amazed that such an error could occur during an era when the US Mint had already refined its processes. Yet history shows us that even the tightest systems are not immune to mistakes. These mistakes, however, are blessings for collectors. They create opportunities for ordinary coins to turn into extraordinary treasures. The true beauty of the 1976 no mintmark dime lies in the combination of historical significance and rarity. The year 1976 was a bicentennial year for America, a time of national pride and celebration. While the dime itself did not feature a special bicentennial design like the quarter, half dollar, and dollar did, its connection to that patriotic year adds to its appeal. Having an era dime from such a monumental year in US history makes it even more special. Today, the value of the 1976 no mintmark dime can be astonishing. While its face value is only 10 cents, collectors have been known to pay thousands of dollars for a well-preserved example. Depending on condition and grading, the maximum selling price has soared past $3,000, and in certain auction settings, it has reached close to $5,000. Just imagine turning a single dime into thousands of dollars. That is the power of numismatics. Current market trends show that the demand for rare coins continues to rise. With more people becoming interested in collecting and investing in tangible assets, coins like this one are positioned to grow in value over time. As the number of high-grade specimens decreases, prices will continue to climb, rewarding those who hold on to them. For many collectors, the appeal is not just financial. It is the thrill of owning a piece of history that very few others can claim. To know that you possess a coin that was created by accident, yet survived the decades, is an emotional connection as much as it is an investment. It turns a simple object into a story, a conversation piece, and a treasure. Sealing and preserving the coin is crucial if you are lucky enough to find one. Professional grading can make the difference between a dime worth a few $100s and one worth thousands. The sharpness of the strike, the luster of the surface, and the absence of where all play a role in determining the maximum value that can be achieved. Looking ahead, can this coin be valuable in the future? The answer is absolutely yes. The market for rare coins has proven time and time again that true rarities never lose their appeal. The 1976 no mintmark dime will only become harder to find as time goes on, and that rarity will ensure its value continues to rise. For future generations, it will remain a symbol of hidden opportunity within everyday currency. Even today, stories circulate about people finding rare dimes in their change or tucked away in old collections. That is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. The possibility is always there that you might stumble upon one of these treasures when you least expect it. Every time you check your change, you are potentially looking at thousands of dollars without even realizing it. Imagine the excitement of sending your dime off for grading and learning that you possess a rare 1976, no mintmark variety. Imagine the moment when you list it for auction and watch as collectors compete to pay top dollar for your discovery. This is not just a fantasy. It is a reality for those who have been fortunate enough to uncover such coins. The investment potential alone is enough to motivate any collector to keep searching. Coins like this do not just hold value, they multiply in worth as time moves forward. With careful preservation and patience, a dime that might sell for $6,000 today could reach $6,500 in the future as demand grows and supply dwindles. Think about that for a moment. A 10-cent coin, created in 1976, carrying no mintmark, could one day be worth more than a used car, a luxury vacation, or even a down payment on a house. That is the level of potential hiding in the palm of your hand. This is what makes numismatics such a powerful and exciting journey. It transforms ordinary people into treasure hunters, and ordinary coins into life-changing assets. Every coin has a story, but few stories are as powerful as the one behind the 1976 no mintmark dime. Ladies and gentlemen, this is more than just a dime. It is a symbol of history, of opportunity, and of financial reward. It reminds us that sometimes the smallest objects carry the biggest surprises. If you ever come across this coin, you are not just looking at 10 cents, you are looking at a potential fortune. So, keep your eyes sharp and your coin jars close. The 1976 no mintmark dime may be out there waiting for you. And if you find it, you will be holding a treasure worth thousands of dollars, a treasure that proves the extraordinary value hidden in the simplest of places. Next up, the 1981 D Roosevelt dime, a coin that at first looks like nothing more than 10 cents, but in reality carries history, rarity, and a surprising level of value that many collectors are chasing even today. The Roosevelt dime itself was born in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death in 1945. It was a tribute to his leadership and his support of the March of Dimes, an organization dedicated to fighting polio. From that moment on, the dime carried not just monetary value, but a legacy of hope and progress. By 1981, the Roosevelt dime had already been circulating for decades, but something unique was happening at the Denver Mint that year. In 1981, millions of dimes were struck at the Denver facility, marked with the D mintmark. However, among those millions lies a subset of coins that collectors treasure for their scarcity, their fine details, and their potential to fetch high amounts on the open market. The 1981 D dime has become a symbol of hidden value, showing us that even modern coins can turn into treasures when preserved and recognized for their importance. What makes this coin so special is not just the mintmark itself, but the year in which it was struck. The early 1980s marked a transitional period in American coinage. The US Mint was refining its processes, modernizing its equipment, and producing coins with precision. Yet, within that production, a number of dimes emerged that today are considered rarities when found in top condition. High-grade examples with the Denver mintmark, flawless strikes, and sharp details are worth far more than their face value. When we look at its history, the 1981 D Roosevelt dime was built as part of the normal currency flow. It was created for circulation, intended to be used by millions of Americans in their daily lives. But that is exactly what gives it its appeal. Most of these coins were spent, worn down, and lost to time. Very few survived in mint condition, making pristine examples incredibly valuable to collectors. So, how many people want to buy it? The answer is thousands. Across the world, there are serious numismatists, casual collectors, and even investors who search tirelessly for coins like the 1981 D dime. Online marketplaces, coin shows, and private auctions are filled with buyers eager to get their hands on one. The demand is high because everyone knows that coins from this era, when preserved in perfect or near-perfect shape, can command significant amounts of money. Now let's talk about the current value. While the dime is technically worth just 10 cents, serious collectors value it at far more. Depending on the condition, the 1981 D Roosevelt dime can sell for hundreds of dollars, and in exceptional cases where the coin has been graded at the highest levels, it can reach into the thousands. Imagine holding a dime in your hand and knowing it could bring in $1,600, $2,800, or even $3,900 at auction. That is the power of rarity combined with condition. The beauty of this coin lies in its future potential as well. Can it be valuable in the years to come? Without a doubt. As time passes, coins from 1981 will only become rarer in high quality. Every year that goes by, more coins are lost, damaged, or overlooked, leaving fewer pristine examples available to collectors. That scarcity ensures that the 1981 D Roosevelt dime will only grow in value as demand continues to rise. It is worth remembering that coins like this are not just valuable because of the metal they are made of, but because of the stories they carry. When you own a 1981 D dime, you are holding a piece of America's economic history. It represents a time of change, a moment when the US Mint was perfecting its craft, and it stands as a symbol of durability and legacy. This coin's ability to attract so many buyers speaks volumes. In the collecting world, the laws of supply and demand are very clear. When there are fewer coins and more buyers, prices climb. That is exactly what we see with the 1981 D dime. Collectors are not only buying it for themselves, but also as an investment to pass down to future generations. Some might wonder, is its value really high or low? The truth is, its value is high compared to ordinary dimes, and it continues to rise. While millions of these coins were minted, only a fraction exist today in the pristine conditions that collectors demand. That difference between ordinary and extraordinary condition is what creates the huge gap in price. A dime you might overlook could in fact be worth thousands if it has been preserved properly. The maximum price this coin can achieve is inspiring. Records have shown that top-graded examples of the 1981 D Roosevelt dime have sold for nearly $4,500 at major auctions. For a coin that was never intended to be rare, this is proof of how powerful condition and collector demand can be. When you think about it, turning 10 cents into several $1,000s is one of the most exciting opportunities in coin collecting. For those wondering if they should keep this coin or sell it, the answer depends on your goals. But one thing is certain, holding on to such a coin is like holding on to an investment. The longer you preserve it, the more valuable it can become. Collectors around the globe would be more than willing to pay top dollar for a high-quality 1981 D dime, especially as time continues to make it rarer. The thrill of this coin lies not only in its price, but in the journey it takes us on. It motivates us to search through our change, to check those old jars, to dig into family collections, and to look closer at what we thought was ordinary. Because sometimes, what looks like a simple dime can turn out to be a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. The story of the 1981 D Roosevelt dime also teaches us an important lesson about patience and attention to detail. Collectors who take the time to examine every coin, who learn about mint marks, who study the small differences, are the ones who reap the biggest rewards. This dime is proof that dedication to the craft of collecting can pay off in ways most people can't imagine. Ladies and gentlemen, when you hold the 1981 D dime, you are not just holding a coin. You are holding history, value, and potential all in one. You are holding an opportunity that could change the way you see money forever. It reminds us that treasure still exists in the most unexpected places, and sometimes, the greatest finds come from the smallest coins. Next up, the 1990 D Roosevelt dime. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than an ordinary 10-cent piece. But once you learn its history, rarity, and potential, you will begin to see why this dime has become a must-have for collectors around the world. The Roosevelt dime was first issued in 1946, designed as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt and his commitment to the March of Dimes campaign. Over the decades, the dime has remained one of the most consistent and important parts of US coinage. By 1990, it had already been in circulation for more than 4 decades, but the Denver Mint struck a version that collectors continue to watch closely. The D mint mark on the 1990 Roosevelt dime indicates that it was minted in Denver, Colorado. That year, millions of coins were struck, but what makes the 1990 D dime special is not the sheer quantity, but the hunt for those rare specimens in extraordinary condition. While most coins entered circulation and became worn down, a small number survived in pristine, high-grade form. It is those coins that today can command thousands of dollars in value. When we talk about the history of this coin, we are not just talking about metal. We are talking about a moment in time. The early 1990s were a period of economic transition in the United States, and these coins were part of the daily lives of millions of Americans. That everyday connection to history makes them both relatable and highly collectible. Now, let's address one of the most important questions. Where can you buy such a coin? Collectors often find 1990 D Roosevelt dimes in auctions, coin shows, and reputable online marketplaces. Websites that specialize in numismatics often list them, especially when graded by professional coin grading services. This is where serious buyers compete to pay top dollar for the finest examples. And where can you sell it if you are lucky enough to own one? The answer is just as exciting. You can sell these coins through coin dealers, auction houses, or trusted online platforms. Many collectors prefer sealed, graded coins, so submitting your 1990 D dime for professional grading before selling can maximize your profit. That protective seal not only authenticates the coin, but also preserves its condition for future generations. So, is it worth that much? The answer is absolutely yes. Depending on the grade, the 1990 D dime has sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. A regular worn dime may pass unnoticed, but a brilliant uncirculated or high-grade proof like 1990 D can reach values as high as $2,000 to $3,500 at auction. That is an astonishing leap from its humble face value of 10 cents. Think about that transformation for a moment. A coin meant for everyday use, originally worth only $4,600, now has the power to change hands for thousands of dollars in the collector market. That is why numismatics is so thrilling. It is about discovering extraordinary worth in the ordinary. Should you keep a 1990 D Roosevelt dime if you find one? Without question, yes. These coins are investments as much as they are treasures. Over time, the supply of untouched, high-quality coins only shrinks, which means the ones in great condition will continue to rise in value. Keeping such a coin can be like holding on to a winning lottery ticket that gets more valuable with every passing year. And should it be sealed to maximize its value? Definitely. Professional grading and sealing is the most secure way to guarantee the coin's condition and authenticity. A coin in a graded holder can achieve the maximum prize because collectors trust the grading system. That seal can be the difference between selling a dime for $5,200 and selling it for $6,000. Imagine the excitement of discovering a 1990 D dime in perfect condition, sending it for grading, and then watching it come back with a near-perfect score. Imagine listing it for auction and seeing multiple buyers compete, driving the price higher and higher until you walk away with a prize worth thousands of dollars. That is the dream of every collector, and it can be your reality. The future of the 1990 D Roosevelt dime is bright. Coins from the late 20th century are starting to gain more attention as collectors shift their focus from older classics to modern rarities. This trend ensures that demand for coins like the 1990 D will continue to grow, pushing values higher as time goes on. Every coin tells a story, and the story of the 1990 D dime is one of hidden potential. It is a story of how something so small can carry so much power. It is about history, investment, and the thrill of discovery. To own one is to hold a piece of America's past that also has a future filled with opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1990 D Roosevelt dime is not just another coin. It is a treasure, a collector's prize, and a potential fortune waiting in plain sight. It proves that value is not always about what you see on the surface, but about rarity, preservation, and demand. The maximum value this coin can reach is inspiring. Auction records have shown that top examples have already pushed well past $7,200, and as the years move forward, it is possible we may see even higher numbers. The coin you hold today could be worth twice as much tomorrow. So, if you ever come across a 1990 D Roosevelt dime, do not dismiss it as pocket change. Examine it carefully, consider professional grading, and hold on to it like the treasure it is. Because the reality is simple. What looks like a small dime could actually be a golden opportunity. For collectors, investors, and everyday people alike, this coin serves as motivation to look closer, to never underestimate the value of what you have, and to remember that even the smallest discoveries can bring the biggest rewards. The 1990 D Roosevelt dime is a symbol of possibility, proof that hidden treasures are still out there waiting to be found. Keep your eyes open, search your change, and remember that the next great discovery could be sitting quietly in your hands right now. In the end, this is more than just a story about a dime. It is a reminder that opportunities are everywhere, even in the smallest corners of our lives. And when you hold a 1990 D Roosevelt dime, you are not just holding money, you are holding history, legacy, and the chance for incredible wealth.